Guys, thank you so much for all the love and support that you gave us after our last video. We were overwhelmed with the amount of support that we got. We just love you guys so much.
Yeah, so many people just reached out from the past, people from junior high and high school, saying that they were watching us, praying for us, covering us, which is just really kind. It's overwhelming just to know how many people are loving us and out there thinking of us. So we really appreciate you guys, and it really does mean a lot.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say is it's been so fun to hear from people that are also going through this or have gone through this. Having people that relate to what we're going through just makes me feel so seen and known. And honestly, that's part of the reason that we're doing this, is because we want other people that are in a season like this to also feel seen and known. So if you're watching this and you're going through a waiting season, comment below. We want to make sure that we connect with you and that you feel seen and known. Okay, so we're going to talk about testing that we got done and answers that we got from the test. The biggest thing is that Will did a sperm analysis. And that honestly gave us a lot of answers as to why it's taken us 2 years. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I would love to talk about that.
Tell us about your sperm.
That word makes me uncomfy, I think. That was an appointment I really never thought I would be going to. I don't think most men think they'll be going to an appointment like that. I don't know. I'm pretty relaxed in life and pretty, I don't get embarrassed super easy, or I would say things aren't awkward for me usually. And that wasn't that awkward because you're dealing with medical professionals who like just deal with that stuff all day. But I did have an interesting interaction with this guy on the way out, and I was like, yeah, that was awkward. Like, that's pretty awkward.
I feel like it was more than awkward.
Well, this guy,
I feel like it wasn't awkward, but you like
I probably made it awkward.
And your awkwardness made it like the most awkward it could have been.
Get done with your appointment or whatever. Like, they give you this paper. It's like a receipt, but it's like a full-size piece of paper. And only the people who are like in that specific department get that paper. So like, Anyway, so I was sitting by the elevator when this guy walked up, and he has the same paper as me, and I like saw him, and I was like, yeah, I see you, bro. We're just like standing there at the elevator, and I didn't say anything. And usually I'm like a break the silence type of guy, not like.
And also not awkward.
I'm usually not awkward. I'm usually like, if there is an awkward moment, I'll like just cut it, Yeah. And like, let's just talk about it. Waited at the elevator forever. We get in there and looked at me, and I like looked at him, and at the same time we said something to each other, and he said, "How's it going?" which is like a normal response that a human being would say to another human being. And I was like, "How'd it go?"
That's so bad.
I don't know, dude. When you're in the moment, I don't know what else to say. And he like laughed. And he was like caught off guard. He's like, "Oh, this is good." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry, my bad, dude."
Yeah.
And I'll probably never see him again in my life. But if that was you, bro, and you see this video for some reason, let's be friends.
So that's how your appointment went.
Yeah.
And then we got the results that night, and we looked at them together, and that was also kind of hilarious because it really showed like the difference in our perspectives. Like, I guess when you read the results, like your interpretation was, okay, cool, I don't really know what any of that means, but it's cool to see like the little slidey bars.
Okay, well, first of all, it's like, I think you could do like some weird competitive, like you could do sports betting on sperm analysis. Seriously. Like, there's all the different categories, and like you can see how well you are in this thing and this thing. It's like you're looking at NBA 2K players, like their shooting ability versus like their like endurance versus like their speed. It's hilarious.
Exactly.
It's just like that.
And when I'm looking at it as like, okay, this is information that we need to know normal, abnormal, and then what can we do to optimize it.
Bella's also studying to be like a functional medicine gal.
Functional deal over here.
Functional medicine gal. So she's thinking of it from her expertise. I'm thinking of it as a carpenter and a washed up high school basketball player. So I don't have like a lot of context for what this means, or like what can you do about it. And Bella's like, oh, okay, we can do this and we can do this, and I'm like, cool, we got results. Maybe we'll like talk to a doctor in a couple of months. And she's like, no, we're gonna do stuff right now. Like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, I didn't think about that.
So the overview of that is the morphology was really bad, meaning the shape of his sperm are misshapen in some form. And then because of that, the motility is also poor, at least like the forward progression. And so... layman's
term, they're not shaped well.
Yeah.
And they don't swim forward very well.
Yep. Honestly, that was like, wow, okay, we have a lot of answers here. This makes a lot more sense. And how did you feel, not initial reaction, but like after we kind of processed it and realized like what it was saying, how did you feel at that point?
There was some sense of like resolve to know like, oh, there's something happening that would, like, if there was nothing wrong, I would be even more concerned of like, why aren't we getting pregnant if there's nothing wrong for 2 years? Also, like, probably the hardest thing I've seen my wife go through is like to hope to be pregnant for 2 years and every month not be pregnant, and for her to like work really hard on herself, for her to like eat super well. I mean, I have tried to as well, like get healthy in lots of ways, but specifically her, like, she's like really like getting all the supplements and the prenatals and the food and the exercise and the all that stuff, because it's like so innate in you to like want this so bad, which I really want it to. I just think it's especially for women. And so I remember multiple times like you were like, why aren't we getting pregnant in the hard months? And I often thought like, well, it might not be you, like, you know, there might be like something on my end. But also I haven't been like super discouraged or like super bummed, because I just kind of have a posture, honestly, of like, it is what it is. And not in like a sense of like there's nothing that we can do about it, but in the sense of like, these are the results, like, let's do what we can do to fix them. And
you also have like a deep-seated peace that God is in control.
Yeah, I really believe that God has children for us. I often think of Abraham when I think about trying to get pregnant, because I'm like, God promised him children, and how long did he go without it? And how absurd a promise can sound when we're looking at like sometimes reality. What we view as truth is not what God views as truth or reality. And so I just have really tried to hold on to his perspective, because if he's promised us children, which he has, then I believe they're coming. And I'm going to do the best I can to steward my body, the best I can to prepare myself for being a father. But besides that, I cannot pause my whole life and cry about this speed bump we have in front of us. Like, this is a page in our book, maybe a chapter in our book. It's not the book. And I think it's just so easy to get overwhelmed or discouraged, or it become a huge giant mountain in your life, and it's all you focus on. I work hard to try to keep that posture, because it keeps me at least steady enough to keep moving forward.
And also seeing rightly, which is kind of confusing, because you would think like seeing rightly is like, what is the reality in front of you? But actually seeing rightly is, what does God say about this?
And his reality is higher than ours.
What does he say about your future? And so when you can stay focused on that, it's so encouraging in this process, because there's so many days where it feels like, oh my gosh, my current reality that I'm sitting in is another negative test or another cycle, starting your period. And that can feel really discouraging. But when you, and like, also sit in that discouragement. It's okay to feel those feelings. It's actually necessary to grow, to be able to feel those feelings. But like, to sit in those feelings and then move through it, move past it with God, with actual truth in mind, is so important and so healing. And so, I think we've done a good job of like sitting in that place of trusting in what God actually has for us, even though our reality isn't us walking in that truth right now. So overall you feel kind of almost like relieved?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of just like pointed us to the next step of our journey.
Yeah.
How did you feel getting the results from my test?
I think at first it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I don't think it fully set in, like, the weight of what it meant until I went and saw my practitioner. And she's like, okay, like, we need to switch some things up. She basically said, okay, you guys are dealing with male factor infertility. And that was the first time I heard that. And it was like, whoa, like, that's a label. And my practitioner is super amazing, and she encouraged me like, hey, we can turn this around. And she encouraged us to take the next like 3-4 months just to focus on optimizing Will's health and still my health, and honing in on some specific things and treating this like practice for healthy bodies. And so that was really fun for me, actually. I was like, dude, I texted Will, I was like, I'm so excited. Like, I've been focusing on having a baby for so long that having someone tell me that for the next 3 to 4 months, like, don't even think about it. Just focus on how you guys can have like the healthiest lives possible. And I was like, okay, like, what do I want to do? It almost gave me like this new like perspective of my life doesn't revolve around like, could I be pregnant? I'm trying to get pregnant. Am I pregnant?
Yeah.
Will I be pregnant?
Yeah.
And it just turned into like, oh, I'm so excited to like do this workout or like make this meal just for the heck of it, not unto getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Even though it is still, that's our goal. It was just really freeing.
Yeah. It gave us a new goal.
Yeah.
And I think it's really encouraging just having someone who can walk you through, like
Yeah.
a practitioner, like who is patient enough and
Yeah.
present enough. Because I feel like a lot of times doctors are just so, like, seeing so many patients, they're like,
Yeah.
they can't be present and like actually answer an email or walk through the questions you have, or even like provide hope for you, instill a vision for you, instill a different perspective, rather than just like kind of like take this pill, see you in 3 to 5 months or whatever. I don't know, just the difference. But
yeah, for sure.
I think that's been a blessing. So shout out Cassandra.
Yeah, shout out to Cassandra. If you don't have a practitioner that is supporting you and taking the time to like sit with you, talk to you, and hear what's going on, and then also like make really amazing suggestions for you, go find it. It is so integral, and we didn't have that for the first 2 years. She's a new practitioner for us, and she has changed the game for us. Even just having somebody to talk to has been just such a blessing.
So kind.
So that is kind of the newest update for us, learning that new information about what we're dealing with and why we're not getting pregnant, and then also just how we're feeling about it, which honestly, I think we're pretty encouraged. There's still that kind of like, oh man, like this means that it's going to be more time. And I think the hardest thing that I deal with is my timeline, like my expectation. Honestly, I thought we'd be done having kids by the time I was 30, and 30 is coming up like rapidly, okay? She's a little too close for comfort. And like recognizing, okay, I might have a different timeline than God's timeline for me, but his timeline is so much better than mine. And so just being able to like rest in the fact that he has set my days before me is so important for me, because I get wrapped up in like the timeline of like what my heart's desire is, you know? So yeah. Do you have anything else to say? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I bet we look so hilarious in our green.
Probably.
Why didn't you change?
Why didn't you change?
I was in this first.
This is a soft new sweatshirt.
So I'm going to make another video, just me, myself, and I, going over my test results and more in depth on Will's test results, because I'm nerdy like that. So if that interests you, hit the subscribe button to follow along, because I will be making that. And I'm probably going to also share in that video some specific things that we're doing for each of us to treat what we're lacking. That's it for this video. I hope that you got to feel like you were sitting in our living room with us and we were giving you just family update. Yeah. Okay, we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.